Hey YouTube, it's Steve again with Rescape 2.0. It's late at night, so I look tired. I look tired all the time, but right now, this is how I really look when I'm tired. And today I'm going to do a video just highlighting, this is a huge, what I'm about to talk about is not only a body of, study or training or like a body of knowledge. It's like if you were to major in what I'm telling you, it'd be equivalent to going to college and majoring in college. Like there's things in this that are bodies of knowledge. So it's a huge overview. I'm doing this video just to help introduce things to people. A lot of you might already know some or all of this, and what people that don't know these things, I'm hoping it'll help them in their study. Because one of the things, like I said in the intuition and psychic video, how there's a lot of psychics relatively, and then not a lot of people that can manipulate their chi. But if you think about it, you can go, there's a lot of schools, qigong is a big thing, and then so how then could I say that there's not a lot of people that can manipulate their chi? And the short answer is basically the people who kept this knowledge alive, largely in China and different parts of the Orient, but mostly China, because it's just a huge country. They're able to maintain this knowledge, because you get in the conspiracy theory stuff. But if it existed other places in the world, it got stamped out. It couldn't get stamped out in China because it's just too freaking huge, and so they could hide. But one of the parts of hiding is that, and you still see this in China today, and it was a part of their culture, not just with energy work or qigong, but with just martial arts in general, that you'd have the teacher, and then they would have a school, and there'd be the public students and the indoor students. And the public students is what he taught, just basic stuff, and used to make money or whatever. And then the indoor students are the ones that he taught the real stuff, to carry on the legacy of the school. And maybe he had like one student who was a family member or something, where he would teach everything. So what happens in the specific case of energetics, or qigong, or energy work, or however you want to call it, is that you have, it's kind of bad to say it's like secret stuff, but when you have indoor students, you're not teaching it to the public. That is secret. So, and if you taught everything to the public, it could spread. But when you only teach indoor students, you have like 5 indoor students and 1,000 outdoor students. Then the outdoor students go and start their own schools and aren't even teaching all of it, and that spreads. And then the information that the indoor students learn, if they decide to go public, well, there's only 5 of them, so now they've got 1% of the students learning from them, and they're even public at this point. So you really have to do a lot of searching to find like real stuff. It takes a long time. You have to do a lot of searching. I lucked out. I got a teacher who had already done this, who'd spent decades specifically seeking out teachers and doing all sorts of different things that he could do, to get them to teach him, training methods so he could teach this stuff. And he's white, so that's hard to do. If you've ever been to China and trying to learn martial arts in China as a white person, there's a little bit of a racist thing there. And then how much more so with the people that are teaching stuff, the indoor stuff, and he wants to learn the indoor stuff. So anyway, this kind of fell in my lap. So one of the reasons I'm making these videos, and it might sound like, I'm saying stuff that seems like it's a little out there, or like, how do I know these things? Well, a large part of it is just I got lucky. So, and usually when people stay in this kind of stuff long term, they want to help other people. It's just part of doing this kind of thing. It's like people that learn this want to teach it. And so this is one of the things this channel's for. I'm trying to help people, that where I was 10 years ago, people that are there. Basically, I make videos that I would have wanted to see 10 years ago. And so this is one of them. So, okay, enough rambling. So energetics, right? You've got the closed door in the public. Now, in the United States, you say Tai Chi. Tai Chi is, if you have the Qigong umbrella, Tai Chi is under that. So not all Qigong is Tai Chi, but every specific piece of Tai Chi is a form of Qigong. And people might not say that, but that's the case. Another thing, Tai Chi is primarily martial. It's created as martial arts. It's used in the United States now as health, mainly. There's people that do martial too, but even the martial side, people don't know how to fight with it anymore. Most people, honestly, almost everyone I've seen, they don't know. You have moves and application moves, but then the actual fighting method is pretty much gone. But with healing, you don't need a healing method. You can just, kind of go with a little bit more. Anyway, so with Tai Chi, you've got the indoor and the outdoor students. And one of the things you learn in Qigong, just in general, that in the United States at least, that the Dantian, there's 3 Dantians, but the lower Dantian, which is between basically a couple inches below your belly button, and it's just a big ball. Like if you had like a volleyball, I don't know if it's that big, but it touches your spine and the skin in front of your stomach, so it's your entire lower torso. And it's this is how you know when they're the outdoor students. They'll say, and this is pretty much all you'll find too. If you don't look hard for it, this is what you're going to find. The lower dantian is the storage area for chi energy. Now, the reason this cannot be is because when you build your chi energy, eventually, if that was the storage, you'd have way too much fucking chi energy to put in a little tennis ball area in the middle of your abdomen. And then there are people that actually do try to do that, and they end up getting really sick. And if they don't stop, they could die or get really seriously ill. So there's a lot of things that are taught incorrectly that will cue you off that these people don't really know what's going on. Now, if you want to know, I'll just give you the hookup where chi energy really stored, and you won't find this very many places, and you'll definitely not find hardly any places to teach this. But real chi energy, and it actually makes sense if you think about it anatomically, like if like where is life created in the human body? Like if you could just say, like, let's say blood is life, where does blood come from? Like red blood cells. And if anybody knows anything about anatomy, it comes from the bone marrow. The bone marrow creates the white blood cells and the red blood cells, and there's always the fresh newness. Like when we talk about the spirit brings life and like the newness of the spirit, it largely occurs in the bone marrow. And people are younger, when you're younger, your bone marrow is more like squishy and your bones flex a little bit more. And so when you're younger and have more chi or more life, your bones are in better condition. And then when you're old and don't have a lot of chi, one way that a lot of people die when they're old is they fall and they break their hip. Why do they break their hip? Because their bone marrow in their hip isn't squishy like it used to be, and so it breaks, and then however it goes from there, they die. So one of the reasons that you can store chi, an infinite amount of chi, as far as like anybody that's lived, basically my teacher says any masters that he's met that are like in their 90s or whatever, the oldest masters he's met are still storing more and more, always growing. As far as he knows, there's not a limit, so there's probably not a limit. And with your bone marrow, if you build chi and you talk about the auric field, like the chi is the auric field, if you're going to store chi somewhere and you have a chi field around you, the chi field has to be equidistant to the storage areas. So it can't be in the middle of your stomach, because that's just one area. But if it was in your bones, your bones are everywhere. Your bones are equidistant to the auric field, because you got your skull at the top and your feet, and then that's part of your body. So that makes complete sense. And then what will separate people that do, and this is the part where when I say almost nobody knows it, this is the part. Their bone marrow washing, if you look it up online, a lot of people say that it's either never existed, like it's a mythology, or if it did, it's lost to human whatever. And one of the reasons it's kept such a secret is because if all you do is energy work and don't do bone marrow washing, versus energy work while doing bone marrow washing, the bone marrow washing is what increases your capacity to hold energy. So if you don't do bone marrow washing, you can store chi to an extent, and then you'll have your, maybe a decent amount of energy, but it won't keep growing. Like I was saying before, like the most senior masters my teachers found, they're always growing. So in order to keep growing, you can't just build energy, but you have to build your capacity to hold energy, and that's what bone marrow washing does. So over the long haul, you take someone 10 years of doing bone marrow washing, which everybody in my school is supposed to do bone marrow washing, versus 10 years of just doing general Qigong, assuming you actually are moving the Qigong, which, again, most Qigong people aren't even doing that. They're just moving around, not even moving the energy. The person doing bone marrow washing will be several magnitudes greater in, the power of the energy that they have. Basically, the bone marrow washing is what allows you to do the supernatural things. Eventually you get there, and why nobody gets that. And it's just that one thing, and I know it sounds crazy, but one of the ways it's true on a physical level is your bones actually will get heavier. Like, I weigh about 210 pounds, but if you looked at me, I look probably like I only weigh like 180 or 190 pounds. And the reason is, when your bones get heavier, your bones don't expand. They stay the same volume, they get denser, and so there's nothing to give away the fact you're heavier. So that's crazy. Another thing that's crazy is your bones, like I said, younger people's bones have a little flexiness to it. You can be really old, and if you've done bone marrow washing your whole life, your bones will bend. Like, my bones flex pretty well. And it does make you look younger. I'm 35. I don't know if I look 35, but like even here, like I don't have the crow's feet or the lines or anything. When I shave my beard, I look really young. Most people at the school look about 10, my school look about 10 years younger than they are. I don't think I look 25, but as you get older, the proportional age difference is less. So when I'm 45, I'll probably look 35, that kind of thing. But anyway, these are all just side effects of doing bone marrow washing. So here's the school of thought. You've got Qigong, which is huge area, but one of the keystone pieces of what you have to do to be a real Qigong master is you have to do marrow washing. And that alone is like, if you, like, let's say you want to clip a bird's wings. Let's say you've got a bunch of birds that are, young students in the United States that want to learn energy work, and you want to most efficiently make sure none of them get to a point where it actually matters and just make them think they did. What's the one thing you can pull where nobody grows? And the answer is marrow washing, because if marrow washing doesn't exist, you can't increase your capacity chi, you max out the capacity, and you can maybe increase the sensitivity to control it better. But really it's the quantity of the chi that you can hold is what gives you the power. It's not, obviously if you can't feel it, you can't do anything with it, but so I guess it's both. You have to be able to control it well. And the different ways to control it. How fast can you control it? How detailed can you control it? How complex can you, how much information can you put, like the complexity of how you control it? And then like you can grow your mind too. There's other training to do besides marrow washing that makes your mind stronger, because as you get more and more energy, you have to have a stronger mind to, keep track of all of it. And another thing is, I'm saying this too, a lot of people that would say this would be bragging. I hope I'm coming across that I have no ego in this at all, because one of the reasons I've been doing it for so long is, like, to me, this is just like waking up and reading the newspaper, and it's just like, and my teacher's really good about this at our school. Like, if he sees us, any of us getting a big head, like, he'll do things to make sure we don't have a big head anymore. So I go to a really good school. But in my mind, when my mind assesses itself, it doesn't see itself. It basically sees itself as being normal. If I got psychically scanned by someone trying to look for people like me, they would scan me and just think I was a normal person, because that's exactly how I view myself. And I am just a normal person. But I have, trained things that would make some people not feel like they were normal. So definitely, if you get anything from this video, check out bone marrow washing. If you don't know, if you have trouble finding it, the only place that I know to found it is my teachers at my school wrote a book. It's called Clears Energy Activation, Cultivation, and Flow. And you can get it on Amazon. And it teaches a lot of different, like, really cool Qigong stuff. And one of them is the bone marrow washing, so you can do that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, indoor, outdoor. Why is it so hard to spread? Why do so few people know it? Why do the people that know it don't really know it? And then bone marrow washing. In the beginning, when I first came to school, all I could really do was bone marrow wash, because I hadn't had any training, didn't know anything about chi really. I accidentally made an energy ball, so I ended up there trying to figure out what it was, and that's what started my training. But all I was doing was marrow washing, and it transformed my body. Like, it only took like 2 or 3 months, and my face was completely different. If you saw pictures of me before I came to school, I don't even look like the same person. I went from 230 pounds to 180 pounds. I was 230 in April. By September, I was 180 pounds. So it does a lot of other stuff too. It'll transform your body. It makes you extremely healthy, which what happens when you do energy work. And yeah, so if you're looking for a good teacher, it doesn't mean just because they don't know marrow washing doesn't mean they have anything to teach you. You might want to tell them about marrow washing, but if you see that they have the lower Dantian as the storage place, no, don't go there. So, and I hope this really gives you a leg up. If I saw this 10 years ago, this would give me a huge leg up. Honestly, this might be the most important video. If you only see one of my videos, I hope it's this one, because if all you did was marrow washing, if you really want to get into energy work, and all I taught you in this entire channel was about marrow washing, that would probably be half of what you could learn in this channel. So I hope you're watching this. I hope you believe me. Check it out. Do marrow washing. It only takes like 5 or 10 minutes a day. You just got to do it every day. And in just a few weeks, you'll start seeing a difference. So anyway, I'll end the video. I don't know what I'm going to title this, but this is Steve and Rescape 2.0, and have a good day.